Hello and welcome back to Wingot Plays Nomifactory. In today's episode, I am going to take a little bit of a break from this process, and instead we're going to work towards the angel ring that I really wanted to get before. To make that, we're going to need the soul binder, and to make the soul binder we need tungsten steel, which means we need tungsten, and to get tungsten we need Nichrome Coil Blocks. So fundamentally we need to make nichrome. Nichrome is easy enough. It is a hot nichrome ingot, which we can get from a blast furnace using a chrome ingot and 4 nickel ingots to get 5 nichrome ingots. And the nickel, easy enough, I think we've got that in the system. Chrome, we just need to put a chrome dust through a blast furnace to get a chrome ingot. So, we can probably... In fact, we've already taught the system how to make the chrome ingots, so let's just tell it to make 10 of those. They take 30 seconds each, so they'll take a little bit of time, but we should get them soon enough. So let's go to the next step, and we'll teach the system how to make nichrome. Now, the first step is, in a blast furnace, at least 2100, so it has to be our tier 2 blast furnaces, to combine 4 nickel ingots and 1 chrome ingot to get 5 hot nichrome ingots. But we don't actually want the applied energetic system to be waiting on the hot nichrome ingot. We want it to be waiting instead on the nichrome ingots that you get. So instead what we'll do is we'll just put the nichrome ingot there and say that this recipe generates 5 nichrome ingots. Perfect. And in that way the hot never actually has to worry about winding up in the system. Now, if we pop over to here, we've got our Nichrome Coil Block furnaces, and if we just put this into there and connect it, let's grab some ME conduit here. Let's run. In fact, we'll continue the ME conduit along the middle back there, and then it can just come across the front here. Perfect. And so now that recipe is in the system. When we request, let's take a look at Chrome. It has not yet made any of those. Let's just check on that. I have the Chrome ingots distributed. Why is there no progress? Needs more energy. This is struggling, really struggling. Is it because that capacitor bank is not high enough tier? This uses 256. Yeah. I think we need a better capacitor bank. Make a couple spare do 2 for now. 2 advanced capacitor banks. And that will allow us to increase the throughput. Electrical steel, and yeah, so that should allow us to increase the throughput here, which is where I believe our limitation is currently. Basic, we're waiting on the advanced. Oh, it says one's been made, there you go, good. Now that gets to go right there, and it should be properly configured, and that should hopefully be able to produce enough power. Oh, that's going up, that's going up. That one is complaining that it needs more energy. And that one's going down. Okay, so we're not getting enough energy through. But what else is running off of this line? These machines here, that's completely full. Good. These machines over here are... There's no power in this system. Let's grab an ME cell. Connect that into this system so that we can at least see if this second AE system has enough power, and make sure it's not just draining the power constantly. I think that should be working. I doubt I broke that, because I've got that capacitor there, which is not complaining at all. In here, yeah, we were just waiting. Okay, you energy cell. Good. Now that gets to go over here, and if we connect it into the AE system, in fact, how about we just put it there? There you go. That's filling up pretty well. Cool. That's definitely not an issue. I think what I might just do is I might disconnect these blast furnaces from that capacitor and just connect them straight in. Oh, this CEF is drawing power as well. That might be part of the limitation. Is we've got this one trying to refill itself and that trying to refill itself. So that, I think, is where part of the problem is. We're still producing the aluminium dust here. In fact, let's take a look. I suspect we're pretty happy with aluminium in the system. Yeah, 10,000. Okay, let's grab our soft hammer. And what we will do for the time being is we will turn off the aluminium furnace, which hopefully means that these other furnaces will be able to run. Looks like no. So let's turn off. Currently only got 2 going, and that's still too much. If we have just 1 going, will that be able to run? Looks like it. So let's grab all these chrome dust and put them into there. Oh, I saw that go down. I think once this one completely fills up, at that point, in fact, let's be cheeky and swap these around. Now that's still drawing quite a lot, of course, but that at least will have enough energy to do all of these crafting jobs. And in fact, we'll turn that one back on, get that to finish as well. Yeah, might as well turn all 3 of those on. Cool. And so that'll at least get the chrome jobs finished. Good. Okay, and so now that we've got chrome being produced, the chrome... At the moment, this is set up to dump all outputs into the storage drawers. How hard would it be to make a second vacuum freezer which is set up to output to the applied logistics system? I think not very difficult. So I need another vacuum freezer. Oh, I've got another one for some reason. Good. And then I need an output bus, an input bus. Actually, LV will do. There. Yep, and there. So, input bus, where's the output bus? It's still not ready, why? Good. And then an energy input hatch of EV tier. Is that right? No, HV tier. Good, and then we just need one more of that. Perfect. Now we have a second vacuum freezer here. And this vacuum freezer gets to input. Perfect. Extract on orange, go. Insert on orange, go. And then we just need an item filter so that we can set this to only accept hot nichrome. Good. And then that way, even if these two systems connect, they will be set up correctly. Yeah, okay, it's the other way around. And we can add additional hot ingots into the system later, and they will just automatically be pumped out into the correct location as well. Meanwhile, so output bus here, we want that to output, in fact let's go upwards to here, and then go across into there. Good. That should be inputting on white. Good. And then this is going to extract on white. Good. And so that will put back into the system the output of the hot nichrome request. Speaking of, we can now tell the system, make 10 nichrome. It's going to use some of that chrome ingot that we've got, a bit of nickel ingot. I'm just going to check on how are we doing for nickel. Okay, so we've got 2000 there. Yeah, okay, and it knows how to craft nickel out of nickel dust. Perfect. Now, let's have a quick look at this. You should have put the inputs into there. You did. That's processing. Perfect. And as soon as that's finished, it will output into the vacuum freezer, and we'll get our first 5 nichrome. Perfect. And then we're going to need to make Nichrome Coil Blocks, which we're going to need at least 12, 14, 16 of these to make one blast furnace. And so 16 of these will require 16 nichrome ingots, because one nichrome ingot will make 2 nichrome wires, and then 2 nichrome wires makes 1 2 times nichrome wire. So each of these is going to need 8 nichrome ingots, and we're going to need 16 of these to make the lowest tier blast furnace. Yeah, that sounds right. So, well, not the lowest tier, but to make a blast furnace out of nichrome. So that's idling. Let's take a look. It should have put into here. Good. And that looks like it just finished making. Why did it only make 9 nichrome ingots? Ah, there you go, 10. Good. Now, if we take a look here, chrome, we've got 139 there. We can easily tell the system to make more chrome, although, of course, we're limited here by that power. So let's take a look. 37 million. Okay. And this is still filling up as well. Okay, I think it'll be fine. All 3 are running. Let's check on this. Okay, it is going down, but it should, TM, make it through all of that chrome before it runs out. And we've still got the aluminium paused. So we'll try, hopefully that will be fine. And in the meantime, so we've got the chrome. Now nichrome, 1 chrome ingot makes 5 nichrome ingots. So 10 can easily make 50. There you go. And so now we have to just wait on those to craft up, which 5 every 40 seconds here in the... Are you said blocking? Ah, there you go. No, it's not waiting on the chrome ingots. It must be waiting on the nickel to put that in there. I might just quickly make a second of this nichrome ingot as well, and we'll get utilizing of this second blast furnace. And in fact, right there, we've already got it prepared. So all we need to do is go here, put that in there, and then we need some ME conduits. Perfect, we've already got some. We'll run it across the back here. Oops, good. And so that gets a third blast furnace in the system. And then we just need to connect this here and tell it to also extract an orange, at which point that will just work. Good, that's processing, and it should also be getting some of this. Let's take a look. So 2 makes 8. There we go. Good. Put those in there, and once this finishes processing, that will also go. I think we'll grab one more as well. Try to even the load a bit. Good. Shoot. Actually, I saw that one going down, but there's plenty of power in that CEF, so if anything, I think it's probably because there's not enough amps running in that line at the back there. There you go, it's going down again. So it might be that when the vacuum freezers are running, it's generating too much demand on this 4 amp cable, and this stops being able to run. But for the time being, it's working, and we'll have to fix up the energy system later on. Meanwhile, over here, this is a 16 amp cable, but the issue is of course the power coming into the CEF because it's being split over to here. As I say, once that one's full, it will no longer be an issue, and this CEF will be able to fill up. But as it is, they can all run at the same time. They're just draining the battery, and if that battery does run out, then they will stop running. But hopefully this CEF will get full before that happens. In the meantime, we've got Canthal being made. There we go, we're already up to Nichrome. We've got Nichrome being made, already up to 35. Now we just need to tell the system how to make Nichrome Coil Blocks, which is simple enough because all we need to do is an assembler with pattern 8 and Nichrome wire. Makes a Nichrome Coil Blocks, easy. And then coil block, we've already got a assembler set up with those, and then we just need to tell it how to make the Nichrome wires. That's a standard molecular assembler recipe, and then that is a wire mill recipe. Perfect. Now if we take a look, we should have a wire mill that has space. We're completely full on wire mills now, but that should be everything we need to get Nichrome Coil Blocks. And as I said, we're going to need 16 of these, and that will require about 120 nichrome ingots to make 16 Nichrome Coil Blocks. Meanwhile though, step 1, let's actually take some Nichrome Coil ingots out of the system to complete that quest. Perfect. And we don't need these frost casings anymore. Perfect, that one's done. And then this one wants, 16 Nichrome Coil Blocks so that we can get up to 3600 Kelvin in an electric blast furnace, which is what's going to be required to make the tungsten. We currently have no jobs running. We've made all... I thought I did a job to make 50 nichrome on top of the 10 that we already had. Anyway, so we can do 100 more easy with the job that we've got there, with the chrome that we've got there. I think, in fact, let's make 2 more chrome ingots, and at that point we'll be able to make another 150 nichrome ingots, and that 150 nichrome ingots will mean we've got over 200, which is, as I say, more than the 100. Well, at the moment we actually only need 75 more, but we might as well make some extra. And then in the meantime, I like sort of between episodes, I'll process up a chunk more chrome ingots as well. But there we go. So we can make 150 from that 30 chrome ingots and 120 nickel, easy. And I think I might just do 30 more for the time being, which will be 10 per machine, which is only 5 minutes, which just because I'm very conscious of this power system and I don't want to put a big job in there and completely kill it. But in the meantime, we've got, we've got titanium? Yeah, we've still got titanium being produced, and then here we've got our nichrome being made. Very nice. Good. 3 and 12, 1 and 4, 2 and 8, there you go. I can ignore those, they'll just do their job. Meanwhile, we don't actually need that pig right there. I probably should do something to stop the animals coming downstairs here, but culling the ones that do come down is one thing that survival of the fittest would tell them, don't come downstairs. Too bad they don't evolve. Anyway, so we've got the nichrome being made. Nichrome coil blocks are pretty close. I'm just going to have to wait on this nichrome to process, and then I'll be back with you in just a moment. See you then. And we're back, and we now have more than 130 nichrome ingots, which means we could make these 16 nichrome coils that we need. Perfect. And while that crafts away in the background, let's take a look at where we need to progress. So we need to go to tungsten is going to be the next thing that we're trying to work on. And let's just look at tungsten ingot. That is made in a vacuum freezer from a hot tungsten ingot, fine, which is made by putting tungsten dust into a blast furnace with no liquid. And that blast furnace needs to be 3000 Kelvin, so it needs to be the nichrome coils. Now, tungsten dust, where are we going to get that from? Because I don't think we have anything we've got tungstate, which can become tungsten. Okay, so hydrogen plus tungstate dust makes tungsten and lithium. That's, I think, what we're likely going to be doing. Let's double check here. So tungsten ingot, tungsten dust is made. There's not going to be anything worth pulverizing there. There's centrifuging tungsten steel, tungsten carbide, which we need the tungsten to make those. Scheelite makes tungsten and calcium. Well, we've got lots of scheelite actually, although that's 1920 EU per tick. I don't think we can do that level. 32, 128, 512, 2000. Okay, that I think that might be EV tier electrolyzer, which shouldn't be too hard to make, I wouldn't have think. So electrolyzer, HV. Oh, okay, it's going to be very difficult to make if it doesn't exist. EV is, I assume it exists just under a different name, but why would it not just be called an electrolyzer? Extractor, extruder. Huh. Although, what we can do is we can look here. Tungsten dust in an electrolyzer. Basic. Molecular disintegrator. Which I didn't even see anywhere in this list. Ah, there it is. Molecular disintegrator. That's what we need to make. Fine. Now, that... Yeah. So, platinum wire. Do you know how to make it looks like it. Platinum wire. Perfect. Make like 20 of those. Go. Aluminium cable. Easy. You know how to make that. Make like 20 of that. Good. Mainframes. Okay, we can make those. And I'm very much looking forward to when we can replace those with micro circuits. EV machine hull, I don't know. That's a casing. Let's try again. Okay, EV machine hull, I've taught the system to make. That just uses a bit of titanium. And then that should be everything we need to make the EV tier electrolyzer. Now, we also don't have, though, any sort of EV setup yet. So, I think I'm going to need to make space for an EV setup. And that is actually, let's take a look. We've got the Nichrome Coil Blocks. Perfect. Good. And so we've got Nichrome now. So now we need to make tungsten. It's a material that requires an EV electrolyzer and an electric blast furnace with at least Nichrome coils. It is only found from tungstate and scheelite ore. Yep, perfect. Sent through your ore processing. Tungstate is also obtainable in small quantities from centrifuging endstone dust or extremely small quantities from centrifuging lava. Fine. We've got plenty of tungstate for the time being. Tungstate needs to be electrolyzed with hydrogen to get to the tungsten, which then needs to be cooked in the EVF. Yep, that's what we've actually already found. But what I am going to need to do is I'm going to need to set up a EV area. Let's grab a building gadget. We're going to need some agon, green. 30 might not be enough, so we'll grab another stack of it here. Green is 4, perfect. And then we also need some bits. So let's look at that. 4 stacks probably should be enough. Okay, so first up is we need some agon in a horizontal column. Still absolutely love just being able to do this so easily. Oh yeah, and we need to select the bit. Perfect, and there, good. Now show me the darkness. Fire the torch at the darkness. Perfect. Now we just need here we're going to need a CEF, which is going to need to be EV tier. Apparently we've already made one. Did not expect that. Okay. And we're going to need some end steel cable. Perfect. CEF, EV. That was a lot easier to make than I was expecting. Give me some vibrant alloy conduit as well. No end steel conduit. Because that's what is going to connect into the CEF here. And then the CEF just needs to run some power along. That's in the way. And then we need it's still sitting up there, isn't it? The electrolyzer, or the molecular disintegrator. Okay, we're waiting on a mainframe. We need another EV machine hull because the previous one got used to make the EV CEF. And the mainframe also apparently one of them got used up. So if we pop that there, good. Now if we put these back into the system, then we'll be able to use those to make the molecular disintegrator from over there. But we do also want another blast furnace. And we want some heat-proof brick casings. We've got plenty. And then we're going to want an input hatch, a EV energy input hatch, good. We want a input bus, MV, that'll do. We want an output bus, And that actually probably should be it. Good. So that will give us everything we need to make. And let's just go here and drop a travel anchor. It's apparently our last one. Let's make 10 more. Oops. 10 more go. Perfect. And then travel anchor gets to go here. And this will be EV machines. Good. So, let's see how we go for the disintegrator. We're waiting on the mainframe. We're just waiting on RAM. Which shouldn't take all that long. Like, I think it takes 40 seconds or something, so it does take a while, but it's the last thing we're waiting on to make another mainframe. Travel anchors, okay, that's the only thing we're waiting on in the whole system at the moment. Let's take a quick look. We've got 30 chrome sitting there, we've got 82 nichrome. Let's tell it to make another 30 chrome, so that in future we can make lots and lots of nichrome without trouble. In fact, at the moment we could make another 150. Let's do that. Perfect. Because I'm sure we are going to need more nichrome. So for now, let's just do that. Now, let's take a look. The blast furnace is ready. Perfect. The buses should be ready. Perfect. And we're waiting on that mainframe. Okay. So if we just go... In fact, let's just put it here for now. Perfect. One heatproof casings down the sides. And then that's going to be a energy input hatch here. EV, that's endstone cable, good. Now we need the nichrome. And of course this doesn't need to be an EV tier, but it should speed things up. And frankly it's the tier that we're up to anyway, so I'm just going to use it. Now, that was wrong because I actually want those to be the input and output. Good. And then U output is on the left, input is on the right. Perfect. Done. We now have an EV tier blast furnace with nichrome coils. And if we pop back in here, we should be able to, there we go. We've got our EV electrolyzer. Perfect. And the EV electrolyzer will allow us to get tungsten. So let us just quickly grab tungsten. There we go, we'll grab a full stack, throw that in there, and it needs hydrogen. I forget whether I've got hydrogen in the system here. We've got hydrogen, it's not infinite, but it will do. So what I then want is I want a fluid interface. And I want ME conduits. We're going to need more of those. And while I think of it, we're going to need a capacitor to throw into that CEF, and we're going to need to connect that CEF to the mains power. But if, what was I just making? I was making ME conduits. Perfect. Now, I think some conduit facade would be good as well. Let's grab a bit here, and then we can just go over to there, and we'll be able to run our ME conduit through that facade. There, perfect. And so if we pop downstairs, we can continue on both of these. Power gets right there. Ooh. Oh, I see what happened. That conduit, in fact, we might as well just run the conduit through that block. Perfect. And then we just need to run the back line down here. There we go. Good. And then we just ME conduit along the same line. Good. And so then over here we have power coming into this CEF. Good. Give it a capacitor. Perfect. And then this electrolyzer just needs hydrogen, which is easy enough because we just need to go... Let's actually run the ME conduit out of the floor. And then we can put the ME fluid interface there. we want hydrogen here, and now it's full of hydrogen, good, and now we just need some fluid conduits. We'll use ender fluid, and 1, 2, 3, you are going to be extracting on brown, go, you can insert on brown, go. Good, now it's getting hydrogen, it's got the tungstate to dust, it'll process, it'll make tungsten, and then the tungsten gets to come into here, and needs power. Oops. Good, we can turn off our hover, and then the last thing we're going to need is it's going to come out of here and go into the vacuum freezer. So the last step is probably for now just going to be an interface here, which is accepting the output of this blast furnace. As a, there you go, good. And then so that's just going to extract on white, put it into the system. You get to insert on white, and then we just need, meanwhile, let's grab this tungsten, we'll put it into here and get it processing. Good. And then last thing we're going to do is we are going to, over here, we can put one more interface here, and then that interface can have the hot tungsten ingot. Hot tungsten ingot, bang, there you go, it's already got the hot tungsten ingot. I don't think this is going to want us to pick up the hot tungsten ingot, it's not. And then anything that's being exposed there can be extracted on orange, perfect, and then that will go into our vacuum freezer. Hot tungsten, oh, but we also need to configure this to accept hot tungsten ingot, perfect. There we go, and now it's processing away, perfect, and we are getting tungsten. We should be getting tungsten to the system. Because the output of that is a tungsten ingot. Vacuum freezer. It's idle. Oh, there we go. And we have our tungsten ingot. Perfect. And so if we pop back upstairs, I don't know why that took so long to show up, but let me actually check on this. Oh no, that's right, because this is the road. So we've got tungsten being made, and all we have to do is take our tungsten, put it into here, and it will automatically make the tungsten and output it and freeze it. Yes, this is an ugly version of the system for the time being, but it at least gets things up and running. Thank you for watching, stay happy and healthy, and I hope to see you in the next one.